Channel Jose. Today we're gonna get our brake system back online on this 66 Charger. We had to remove it for us to be able to weld the plate for the C-bar for the manual transmission that is in there now. So we're gonna show you how we are bench bleeding or bench bleeding out this air out of this system on the master cylinder. So we're gonna be doing just a quick scenario how we do it, because sometimes the master cylinders, people don't think that they have to be bled out or the air has to be brought out before installation into the or connecting the brake lines and adding the fluid. So we're going to show you how we're doing it. And because we think that when you do it on a bench and then you put it on, as you're pushing it back into its place, the piston gets pushed in and then it spits oil. So that's why we're doing it on the car. So that way we avoid that kind of scenario. We're going to show you what we're doing so that way you get an idea of what's going on with this. So this car, we are installing a 4-speed transmission and we have to remove this system right here. And we got this line from the rear brakes. This is the rear brakes and the front brakes right there, the bolts. And then we got a line from the fitting where the brake line connects to it. And then we go improvise with the hose going back into itself. So we're recirculating the oil. But this piston right here from new, or when you take it out, it gets some air there. And you don't want that air to be pushed into the braking system, because then you have braking system problems. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pressing the brake to show you what we mean by bleeding the system out. So that way you don't have braking system problems. We're trying to do the camera setup here so we can gonna have to excuse us, but we're trying to do the best shot that we can get you with this. So that's gonna be, we're gonna light it up. It's getting dark in here. We're doing this as you can see, that's how we're doing. We got the brake system returning into itself. We got oil in there, so we fill it up. We already did it, but we're gonna show you how this is gonna be working. So bench bleeding on the car, that's what we're doing. We don't do it on outside and then putting it in. So now what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna install, or we're gonna be doing, pressing the brake pedal to show you how that gets recirculated into itself. Let's get a little better point of view. There it is. So now we press the brake pedal. You'll see we gotta do it slow, because if we do it quick, you might get those bubbles, which there's none already, but we're pressing, release, press, release, press, release, press, release, press, release. You see that air that moves in the line? You want that air to be out of the brake, of the cylinder. You don't want that air to be, you see that air? Well, you don't want that air on the braking system, because you'll have a pedal that is going to push down and it's not going to brake. So now that we've done it a few times, then we check the level, hasn't dropped. We put a rag just in case it will spill. So now that we have done that, we just top it off. We remove those lines, and then we put the actual brake lines into it, cover this up, and then we are ready to bleed off the system, or get the air out of the wheels once we continue. So this is how we bench bleed this brake system. We do it on the brakes and on the clutch systems in the car if we can, as much as possible, because we avoid, when we put this guy back into the booster, we put this guy into the booster, then the booster pushes into this guy, and if you don't have this closed, the oil spits out of here because it's getting actuated. So that's what we're doing. So we're trying to avoid that kind of scenarios. And that oil can eat up your paint, so you don't want that either. So that's what we're doing so far right now. And we are installing the braking system back on because we had to remove it to be able to weld the plate right on the bottom on the frame, and that was the only way to do it. So we removed it. We now got the C-bar. We're using a DOT3 synthetic, and one thing about this oil, you don't want to leave it open because this absorbs moist. You don't want that. That can corrode the internals of your metals on your braking system. So that's what we're doing so far right now. And we're about to continue just to connect the brake lines. So that's what we're doing. That's it. We just wanted to show you how we're bench bleeding a master cylinder in the car. Pretty simple. So with that said, folks, hopefully this was useful and helpful. We were at the San Clemente Cars and Coffee, and that was a awesome show today. There was so many cool cars. There was the DDE guys out there as well. They had their new Lamborghini out there and their McLaren out there as well. It was Toys for Tots or Toys for Kids. It was an awesome show. It was pretty crowded. It's every Saturday, and it's from 8:30 to 10 o'clock in the morning. Is if you are here in Southern California, if you ever have a chance to go to San Clemente Cars and Coffee, I would recommend it. It's a family-oriented show. It's free, and you'll see all the cool cars that you can imagine: hot rods, classics, off-road, and a lot of exotic cars. So it's very, very cool show. So with that said, folks, hopefully this was useful, and we'll see you tomorrow with another live. So remember, this channel is for you guys, by you guys. And remember, everything starts from zero. Take care, guys. See you later.